I saw her watching him again, her eyes lingering longer than they should as he poured wine into her glass at our dinner party, her laughter too. Bright to eager, her touches brushing too close to innocent. I knew that look because I had worn it once. When I wanted him before he was mine, and now she wanted the same, and I could have been angry, but something in me was curious, something in me leaned into the danger instead of away from it that night as we cleaned up and he went to take a shower. I looked at her standing at the edge of the kitchen, fingers trailing the countertop like she owned the place or soon would, and instead of calling her out, I asked her if she wanted to stay the night. Her eyes widened, unsure if I was joking, and I wasn't, not even a little. She nodded slowly, and I poured us another glass each, telling her he liked full-bodied reds with warmth that lingers and that maybe if she wanted to see how he tasted, she should wait right there. She asked if I was serious, and I smiled, the kind of smile that says nothing but means everything. And I said, if you want him, then take him, but do it right here, right in front of me, because I want to see how far you'll go. When he came downstairs, his hair damp, his shirt clinging to him from the steam, he froze when he saw her still there and me sitting across from her, legs crossed, wine in hand. I told him she wanted something, and I thought maybe he'd like to give it to her, and for a moment he looked confused, then cautious, then curious, and I watched his eyes flick between us like he was reading a book. He'd forgotten he started, "'Kay," then turned a page and didn't want to stop. He sat down beside her, close to close, and she leaned in just enough, and I said, "Go on, don't mind me," and she looked at me as if asking for permission again. And I nodded once, slow and clear, and that was all she needed. Her hand on his knee, her lips brushing his cheek, and I saw the hesitation in him, the loyalty and the disbelief, but it melted slowly under the heat of her breath, and the approval in my silence. I stayed there, unmoving, while her fingers mapped his body. The same one I had memorized and claimed and shared now, and every moment of it burned and thrilled, and broke and bound me until I was no longer sure who I was in this triangle, only that I couldn't look away and didn't want to. The room had its own rhythm, a breathless, unspoken beat between the three of us, her sighs, his low groans, my heartbeat roaring in my ears. I felt everything without moving a muscle, my skin alive just from watching her mouth find his neck, her hips shift against him, my husband, the man I loved, touched and wanted by someone else with my blessing, and I could not tell if I had given away too much or claimed more than I ever had before. I sat there, wine, untouched hands in my lap, and every part of me alert, as if I were the one being touched, the one being wanted. He glanced at me once, in the middle of it, his eyes heavy with something unnameable, maybe guilt, maybe lust, maybe awe, and I met his gaze and didn't look away because I wanted him to know this was not betrayal. This was a gift, a surrender, a test, a temptation, and he had passed or failed, or maybe something else entirely. But I knew one thing for certain: this night would not be forgotten by any of us, not by her, not by him, and definitely not by Mesh. Stayed until morning, curled against him like she belonged, and I watched her sleep on my side of the bed while he faced the ceiling, unmoving, his arm round her like it was always meant to be. And I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't regret, not yet. I just got up and made coffee, and when he finally came into the kitchen, his eyes searching me for anger or pain or something, I smiled and kissed his cheek and told him she left her earrings on the nightstand, and maybe she'd want them back. He asked me if I was okay, and I said yes, because I was, because I chose this, I created this. I orchestrated every note of this strange, beautiful, twisted song, and as he wrapped his arms around me, I knew he was still mine, but different now, touched by someone else while I watched. And I wondered if she knew she never stood a chance, because I was the one who gave permission, and I was the one he came back to when the night was over and the silence settled and the candles died out, and I was the one he whispered thank you to before he kissed me, slow and deep and desperate, like he needed to remind me who he belonged to. And I let him because I needed the reminder too, and because in the end, I had never lost him. I had only watched him through her eyes and loved him all the more for it.